Hi, and welcome to this bite-sized video which aims to provide an overview of what you need to know if you're facing redundancy. It's not meant to be a fully comprehensive guide, but you can find out more via the links at the end. We'll look at 4 basic questions. What is redundancy? Who can be made redundant? What are your rights? And what can you do if you want to challenge the redundancy? Let's start by answering the first question. What is redundancy? Redundancy is when an employee's employment ends because the employer needs to reduce their workforce. This could be as a result of a change in market conditions or new technology that means the job you were employed to do may no longer exist. Or it could be that the business is closing down, changing, or relocating. Let's look at the next question. Who can be selected for redundancy? You have to be chosen fairly for redundancy. Among the reasons that are not considered a fair basis for selection are your age, your gender, if you're pregnant, if you're a member of a trade union, if you're a whistleblower, or if you've tried to enforce a statutory right, such as asking for annual leave. Employers may select people for redundancy based on a number of different things, such as length of service, disciplinary record, timekeeping, performance, or a combination of these. Many companies will ask employees to volunteer for redundancy and sometimes offer an enhanced redundancy payment for this. It's up to the employer to select from the redundancy pool, but it must be fair. You can be made redundant whilst on furlough, but the same rules of fairness apply. If you are made redundant while furloughed, your redundancy payment should not be based on your lower furlough pay, but on your average pay whilst in work. Let's now look at the third question. What are your rights if you are made redundant? You have a number of legal rights, for example, the right to be consulted in order to discuss possible alternatives, the right to be given the reasons for the redundancy, the right to be selected for redundancy according to an objectively fair process and to know the basis for the selection system, the right to take reasonable time off with pay to look for alternative work or training. If you have worked continuously for your employer for 2 years or more, you have the legal right to redundancy pay. There is a statutory minimum, but some employment contracts and employers are more generous, so please check your employment contract or speak to your employer. The amount of redundancy pay is calculated using your age, your length of continuous service, and your current salary. You'll get at least half a week's pay for each full year worked when you were under 22, a full week's pay for each year worked when you were between 22 and 41, and 1.5 weeks full pay for each year you worked when you were 41 or over. If you want to check your entitlement, the government has a useful online redundancy calculator. If you still have holiday owed, then this has to be paid too. If the business has gone bust, the redundancy pay may be provided by the government. Let's now look at the final question. What can I do if I want to challenge the redundancy? When you have a dispute with your employer, it's best to try to resolve it informally. If this is not possible, you should raise your concerns formally in writing. Many companies have a grievance procedure for raising concerns. If you're unsure, please speak to your employer and to get details. If you can't resolve the matter with your employer, you can make an application to the Employment Tribunal. You should speak with ACATS before you submit an application. There are strict time limits for making an application to the Employment Tribunal, so it's important you don't delay in seeking advice or taking action. It may be helpful to speak to one of our advisors or to contact ACAS on their helpline. All the details are listed at the end of this video and on our website. We hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel to see further bite-sized advice videos and follow us on social media for updates on how we can help.